Hello everyone, my name is Jose, aka Be Better Gamer, and welcome to my YouTube channel where I do Let's Plays of the great AKI developed wrestling games from the N64, which are WWF No Mercy, WCW NWO Revenge, and today's episode is going to be about Virtual Pro Wrestling 2. There are a few others, World Tour, WrestleMania 2000, but I haven't done any videos about those yet. Maybe one day I will. Today is a very special episode. It's my Virtual Pro Wrestling 2 episode, and I'm still in G1 Climax fever. G1 Climax, the 25th G1 Climax, it's going on right now. I'm almost all caught up. I think I'm one day behind. So I'm really liking this year's tournament. Last Virtual Pro Wrestling 2 episode, I did a little history about the G1 Climax, and I recreated the 1999 G1 Climax, and I decided, you know, it would be great if I take all the characters from Virtual Pro Wrestling 2 and I create a massive G1 Climax tournament featuring all the people who have competed in the G1 Climax since 1991. And that's what I'm doing right now. I'm going random. I'm choosing the wrestlers by random because there's 33 wrestlers from Virtual Pro Wrestling 2 that have competed at least once in the G1 Climax. So what I'm doing is I'm choosing each competitor by random. There's Minoru Tanaka. He's been in it. Funaki has been in it. You saw earlier I chose Great Muta. I chose Koto Fuyuki and a few others. I forgot who I chose there. I wasn't paying attention. Scott Norton was definitely in the G1 Climax, so he goes in. So there's 33. The way I'm going to break it up is I'm going to do 11, 11, 11. So there's going to be 3 parts to this series. So we're going to have the G1 Climax Part 1 All-Stars. There's Ricky Choshu going in. Just unlocked him a few days ago. So he's going in. Yuki Ishikawa was never in the G1 Climax. There's going to be 3 parts to this video. Look, it falls on Fuyuki again. Tadao Yasuda was definitely in the G1 Climax. He goes in. So this is Part 1. And the winner of each Climax is I'm gonna do a 3-person little mini round robin for them to see who's gonna be the ultimate winner of the G1 Climax All-Stars. And what I'm gonna do also is I'm gonna randomly play one of the characters. I'm not gonna decide who I'm gonna play as. There's Tenryu going in. He was in the G1 Climax as well. So basically, after I randomly select all the competitors, there's Chono. Chono was in the G1 Climax, of course, one of the record holders of the G1 Climax, actually. And Tatsuhiro Takayama was in a G1 Climax. Yeah, he's a junior heavyweight, but he was invited one year. So there we go. So this is the first block, if you will. The G1 Climax, they do like an A block, B block. So this was the first block I've created, and there it is. I'm just gonna scroll. Now I'm not looking at this point when I'm choosing. I'm just holding the up button. I'm scrolling, and then at a random point in time, I'm just gonna stop scrolling, and that's who I'm gonna play as. And I land on Genichiro Tenryu. And I immediately regretted my decision to randomly do it, but then I was like, you know what? No, because then if I choose favorites, I'm just gonna end up playing as Muta, and you know that's not right. Let's keep it random. I'm not gonna easily blow this G1 Climax out of the water if you look at how I performed in my G1 Climax 1999 video, where I played Manabu Nakanishi, a character that I never really played much when I had this game growing up, and I struggled in that climax. You know, I got beat by Shiro Koshinaka in the first match. Keiji Muto absolutely wiped the floor with me in one match, and Kensuke Sasaki and I went toe to toe, and it came down to the very end, and he pulled the win. He pulled the win out. So Sasaki ended up winning that tournament, even though in real life Manabu Nakanishi won. So who's to say I'll dominate with Genichiro Tenryu, one of the greatest wrestlers in Japan of all time, a legend, absolute legend in Japan. And I think this is going to be pretty fun, where I'm randomly taking the 33 competitors that have ever been in a G1 Climax to celebrate, what's going on. I'm really liking the current G1 Climax right now. A lot of good matches. I'm rooting for Kota Ibushi to win it. That's just me. That's my personal favorite to win it. I want to see him win. I feel like he's a very dynamic wrestler, and I always enjoy his matches, and I feel like he's the future. I think over the years, the G1 Climax has definitely been a stepping stone for the future, quote unquote, of New Japan, or who the most popular wrestlers are. And I think Ibushi is the future. A lot of people think Shibata is gonna win it. He's got a good chance of winning it. He's doing pretty well so far. He beat Ibushi, actually, right? Yeah, he beat Ibushi. So it's gonna be interesting. AJ Styles, at first I thought AJ Styles was gonna make it all the way to the finals, but he's lost a couple big matches recently, so I don't know how his chances are looking. I think Carl Anderson, if anything, is doing pretty well in terms of point scoring. So it's gonna be interesting. Naito is like going full blown with this heel gimmick, which I'm loving. He's got like this kind of like black mask, which is like a character from WCW, not WCW, from DC Comics. He's got kind of like a black mask gimmick going on, but he's being like this really douchey heel, and I like it. It's growing on me. I was always kind of like ambivalent towards Naito, Tetsuya Naito, and his heel gimmick is really growing on me. I'm really liking the work he's doing and the work he's doing in the G1 Climax, and he's been pulling some big upset wins. There's no one right now in the Climax who's dominating. No one, everyone seems to be on an even playing field this year, which I like. Even Tanahashi got beat by Bad Luck Fale. And I was very surprised, cleanly too. And it's really interesting. Shinsuke Nakamura, he won the Climax a couple of years ago. A lot of people want him to win their but he has a arm injury, and he actually had to forfeit a match against Michael Elgin, or as the Japanese say, Michael Erugan. I love it. I love watching Japanese wrestling. It's great. Just a whole different culture, man. It's awesome. So I don't know if that elbow is gonna infect his matches later on. He did beat Hiroki Goto. That was the last match I saw. So I think that was the August 4th day of the G1 Climax. Hiroki Goto and Shinsuke Nakamura coming off their rematch from Dominion, in which Hiroki Goto was defending the IWGP Intercontinental Championship that he took from Shinsuke Nakamura. They've kind of had a long rivalry there over that title. But Shinsuke Nakamura defeated Goto. I hope I'm not spoiling stuff. Maybe I should stop talking about the G1 Climax, because if you're not caught up, I've been doing my best to avoid spoilers and reading the spoilers before I actually watch the event. So maybe I should shut up and stop spoiling. Because if you haven't watched it, go and watch it. New Japan World, it's only 999 yen, which transfers to $8.50 US dollars. I don't know what it is in Canadian money or in pounds, because I'm in the US. I'm in New York right now, Buffalo, and that's cheaper than the WWE Network. I have both. Definitely well worth it. You can go, you can watch classic G1 Climax matches. Actually, they have the 1998 G1 Climax match between Shinya Hashimoto and Genichiro Tenryu. That was one of the two G1 Climax tournaments that Genichiro Tenryu had. Masa Chono in the ring right now. I'm currently doing my Royal Road Secession mode with Masa Chono. I've finished up the gameplay, but I haven't been uploading any of the Let's Plays of that because I've been doing some bonus stuff. I've been doing the G1 Climax stuff. So when I'm done with the G1 Climax stuff, I'll get back to the Royal Road Secession mode with Masa Chono and Tenzan. But right now we got Chono and Tenryu in the ring, and Chono, see, playing as Chono so much, I've become very familiar with Chono. But if you notice, Chono does a lot of striking. So really you want to kind of be patient and just block a lot when you play against Chono. Here I go giving Chono a little taste of his own medicine, the Octopus Hold, which is actually Chono's back special. So that's Tenryu's back special as well. I thought that was kind of neat. And I go for a front grapple there special, can't do it. I rarely, if ever, played as Genichiro Tenryu back in the day. I'm pretty sure I played with him a little bit to unlock some character outfits. I think you have to play with him in Royal Road Secession mode to unlock some outfits. I could be mistaken. My memory's a little vague, and I haven't gotten back to that point yet in my current playthrough of Virtual Pro Wrestling 2. But Chono's legacy in the G1 Climax is definitely much more established than Tenryu. Chono is the record holder for the most wins under the G1 Climax name. So the G1 Climax, if you don't know, I highly recommend watching my G1 Climax 99 video because I go into a lot about the history about the G1 Climax. But if you don't know, G1 Climax has been an annual tournament that New Japan Pro Wrestling has been doing since 1974. It wasn't always called the G1 Climax, but essentially it was a tournament held every August to establish who the best of the best was, and at times the IWGP Heavyweight Champion was also involved with this tournament. Early on, the tournament was basically established to put over Antonio Inoki. He would win every year, and the tournament invited a lot of outsiders to the company so that Antonio Inoki could basically kick their butt. But it was called the World League, the MSG League, the International Wrestling Grand Prix League, and the World Cup tournament for 1 year before it turned into the G1 Climax in 1991. Masahiro Chono was the winner of that tournament, and he also won the 1992 G1 Climax, in which the NWA World Heavyweight title was put on the line. He won the 94 Climax, he won the 2002 Climax, just 2 years after this game came out, and he won the 2005 Climax. Masahiro Chono has appeared in, he's appeared in a lot. He was in the 1989 through all the way through, what is that, he's still going. He was in the Climax from 1989 all the way to 2005, technically 1991 because 1991 is the G1 Climax, and then in 2007. So that's 1 2 3 4 5 6 7 8 9 10 11 12 13 14 15 16 appearances in the G1 Climax when it's called the G1 Climax. Now technically this tournament could have featured 38 competitors, but I didn't want Antonio Inoki to win it all. So in order to keep him out of it, I decided to just make the G1 Climax tournament with wrestlers that participated when it was called the G1 Climax. So that's why we end up getting 33. So you won't see Antonio Inoki, you won't see Andre the Giant, Stan Hansen, Akira Maeda, and Steve Williams. Those are the only guys that are not going to appear in the tournament because they never competed when it was called the G1 Climax. So yeah, I'm playing as Tenryu randomly. You know, I didn't plan it that way. There I go, make Chono tap to the ab stretch. There's 1 victory down, so I get my 2 points. Again, very unfamiliar with Tenryu in the game, but I'm pretty familiar with him in, you know, what he did in Japan, because he was, as Ron Burgundy says, a pretty big deal. Tenryu started out in All Japan. He was actually trained by Shohei Baba, you know, Giant Baba, the founder of All Japan. And he was sent down to Texas to get trained by the Funks, Terry Funk and Dory Funk. So if you've watched some old NWA stuff, chances are you saw Genichiro Tenryu wrestle, because he did, you know, wrestle quite a bit in NWA and the Jim Crockett promotions. Most notably, he wrestled alongside the Road Warriors for a brief period. Actually, if you search Genichiro Tenryu on the WWE network, you can find him in a 6-man tag with the Road Warriors for a WCW show. He also had a brief stint in WWF, working along with Mr. Fuji, and you know that Tenryu actually wrestled at WrestleMania. What was it? Which WrestleMania was it? Hold on, I wrote it down. Just gotta look for it. WrestleMania 7, where he teamed with Koji Katayo and they defeated Demolition. So if you didn't know who those Japanese guys were back in WrestleMania 7, one of them was Genichiro Tenryu, who was one of the most accomplished, who would become, actually I should say, one of the most accomplished wrestlers in Japanese wrestling. So from bouncing around in the U.S., when he went back to Japan, he became a big star, mainly because of his feud with Jumbo Tsuruta. So Jumbo Tsuruta and Tenryu was like the first big rivalry over the Triple Crown. The Triple Crown was established. Tsuruta was the champion, and Tenryu and Tsuruta would go back and forth for that title. So he would even beat Shohei Baba in a tag match. He would pin Shohei Baba, which was a big deal. And he would stay in All Japan for a few years, but then he would leave All Japan and start his own promotion called War, Wrestle and Romance. Which is a promotion that I actually reference in my Chris Jericho Let's Play when I did the Chris Jericho Cruiserweight run for WCW NW Revenge. And that was Tenryu's promotion. That was his promotion, and he brought a lot of guys. It was kind of like a freelance promotion. He brought guys from all different parts. Onita went through there, Nobuhiko Takada went through there, Muta went through there, Hashimoto, Chono, a bunch of guys went through there. Inoki went through there. All to just wrestle with Tenryu, because Tenryu was such a big star. He was trying to get this promotion off the ground. He eventually War would, kind of decline, but it was actually around this time, 1998, when Tenryu competed in his first G1 Climax. It was around the time the War promotion was he was running it. And at that time, actually, the G1 Climax was always usually a round-robin league, but sometimes, for whatever reason, it would convert to a single elimination tournament. And that 1998 tournament, they did just that. And in his first match, he took on Keiji Muto, someone he would develop a long-standing rivalry with later on in the second half of his career. But they had a match. Tenryu won that match, so he advanced to the quarterfinals, and he took on Shinya Hashimoto. He would lose to Shinya Hashimoto, but it's okay to lose to Shinya Hashimoto because Shinya Hashimoto ended up winning that year. I always say that if you're in a tournament and you lose to someone in a tournament, it's not so bad if you lose to the guy who eventually wins the tournament. I go to some video game tournaments and I'll play, and when I get knocked out, I feel better that if the person who knocked me out ended up winning the whole thing, because it's like, oh, I didn't feel so bad, because even if I made it to the finals, I'd lose to him anyway. So Tenryu, don't feel so bad in your first appearance in the G1 Climax. He was a freelancer. He was a freelancer there, so he would definitely make his return when he was actually wrestling for New Japan. Who else was in that tournament? Tadao Yasuda, who's in the ring right now, and we're taking it to each other on the New Japan Pro Wrestling New Japan Tokyo Dome Stadium 2. They have two Tokyo Dome stadiums in this game, one without the ramp and one with the ramp that you unlock after you go through your Royal Road Secession. So I've completed Royal Road Secession. I'm obviously doing this after I've completed Royal Road Secession, and we're fighting on the ramp. If you noticed in the beginning of the G1 Climax, I didn't pick the Tokyo Dome 2. I picked the Budokan Hall. And for some reason, every match after that first match is now going to be at the Tokyo Dome 2. Very weird. I don't know why it did that. I thought that was very interesting. But Tadao Yasuda, let's talk about him, because I want to mention briefly all the people I faced, because I'm going to go through the whole league, and I want to mention what they did, because you won't see them again after this. You know what I mean? After I do the one match with them, that's it. This is their block. The B block is going to be a group of 11 different wrestlers, so I might as well talk briefly about their time, if maybe they won the G1 Climax. Unfortunately, Yasuda never won the G1 Climax, but he did compete from 97 to 2003, so 1999 to 2003, I should say. But he was there 97, 98, and then from 99 to 2003, Tadao Yasuda was in the G1 Climax. Never won it. I don't think Yasuda held any major championship. I don't think he was never really one of those guys who's gonna be like a top star. In New Japan Pro Wrestling, he did. That's not true. He did hold the IWGP Heavyweight Championship once. So that's good for him. But he never won the G1 Climax. He actually won it in a tournament final in 2002 when the title was vacated for whatever reason. Not for whatever reason, I should say. Kazuyuki Fujita was injured, so they had to vacate the title. And then Tadao Yasuda actually beat Yuji Nagata in a tournament final, but he only held it for 48 days. So his time as IWGP champion was short. His G1 Climax victories non-existent. I mean, 1999 he got 0 points. 2000 he got 2 points, so he won once. And 2000 was the year this game came out. 2001 he got 6 points, so he came in second place in his block, right behind Yuji Nagata, so that's probably where the feud was starting. 2002 he got 4 points, and 2003 4 points. So yeah, Tadao Yasuda never really gained any headway in the G1 Climax tournaments. Just like in this match, I beat him there. So let's move on. So now I'm sitting high on 4, but now I'm facing Riki Choshu, Choshu Force. Ladies and gentlemen, another big name. And Tenryu and Choshu had kind of a little rivalry in their early parts of their career. Tenryu was part of like a stable called Revolution, and they were like invaders from International Pro Wrestling, and they were invading All Japan. And it was kind of like around that time that the rivalry started beginning between Tenryu and Choshu. Choshu would then go to New Japan, and when Tenryu would go back to New Japan, when he would freelance with War, he wrestled against Choshu a lot. You can find a lot of Choshu matches with Tenryu on New Japan World. But Choshu, kind of a big deal if you don't know who he is. Legend in New Japan. His first G1 Climax technically was in 1978. And his last G1 Climax was in 1996, so when it became the G1 Climax, he only wrestled in 1991, 1994, and 1996. But he was in the 78, 79, 80, 81, 82, 84, 88, 89 tournaments, so kind of a big deal. He was in a lot of them. He won a tournament, I believe, right? I'm not making that up. Let me double check. Yeah, he won the 1989 World Cup tournament. So that's when and then he also won the G1 Climax in 1996. So Choshu, kind of a big deal. He's a G1 Climax winner. Something Tenryu never did, because he was only a freelancer in 98. And Tenryu showed up again. He would show up in the 2004 Climax. So those were the 2 years that Tenryu showed up. Tenryu showed up in the 2004 Climax and in the 98 Climax. So unfortunately, Tenryu and Choshu never got to meet in the G1 Climax. But Choshu was considered like the second top guy under Inoki for a while. You know what I mean? Like along with like Tatsubi Fujinami, Choshu was up there. Chosu's a legend in New Japan. And yeah, I mean, go watch some, get New Japan World. Like you gotta see these guys. It's like watching like Terry Funk or Bob Backlund or old Roddy Piper stuff, Dusty Rhodes, Ric Flair. When I talk about guys like Tenryu, Choshu, Inoki, Baba, that's like kind of their contemporaries just over in Japan. So to put it in a little bit perspective of who these guys might be, there I go for a quick win over Choshu, but he kicks out. Of course he's gonna kick out. Trying to put Choshu away in 2 minutes. What was I thinking? Almost had him there. So there I go. This is great. I didn't know Tenryu had this. He has the DDT off the top rope. I love that move. There's just some moves in this game I love because of their animations. You don't see them a lot. Like when was the last time we saw a top rope DDT? A lot of people do spinning DDTs all over the place, tornado DDTs. But when was the last time we saw someone go up top and just do a top rope DDT? That'd be a great finisher. Just top rope, boom, plant them in a DDT. Who's gonna get up for that? Choshu, apparently. He got up. But yeah, Tenryu fought in the 2004 Climax. He did a lot better. He actually tied in his block. It was very complicated. There were there were 16 people in that climax, and he was in block A, and there was like a 6-way tie. Shibata, Tenryu, Shinzuki Nakamura, Masahiro Chono, Minoru Suzuki, and Yuji Nagata all got 8 points. They all got 8 points. Back and forth, back and forth. Everyone was trading victories and wins. Blue Wolf got 4 points, and Yutaka Yoshi got 2 points. So, but Yutaka Yoshi, his one victory came from beating Tenryu, which is interesting. So Tenryu beat Blue Wolf, he beat Chono, he lost to Nagata, he beat Shinsuke Nakamura, and he lost to Katsuroi Shibata. Both Shibata, Nagata, and Nakamura are in this year's tournament. Tenzan and Tanahashi were also in that year's tournament, and so was Togi Makabe. And they're in this year's tournament. So those are a few people from the 2004 tournament that are in this year's tournament. 11 years later, I should say. And so it was like a 6-way tie, and Tenryu had to take on Kazuki Sasaki in the quarterfinals, and he beat Kazuki Sasaki. And then in the semifinals, he took on Hiroshi Tanahashi, and he lost to Hiroshi Tanahashi. Tanahashi was cleaning house in this tournament, only losing to Tenzan in his block. But Tanahashi would lose to Tenzan again in the grand finals, and Tenzan ended up winning the 2004 tournament that Genichiro Tenryu was in. So there I go. I beat Choshu already, and now we're moving on to the next opponent. I love playing the round robin. I really do. Like, I mentioned this in my G1 Climax 1999 video, but it's such a great opportunity to just face like a random assortment of wrestlers and just over and over again. It takes about an hour to get through it, which I don't mind, which is great. It's like kind of just playing like a playlist, you know what I mean? Like a playlist of matches, like, you know, just putting people in it. Who are you going to fight next? What points do they have? Here's Koto Fuyuki. Now, Koto Fuyuki and Tenryu, you know, they were contemporaries in the way that, like, you know, Koto Fuyuki was over in the not war promotion, that's Tenryu, was in the FMW promotion. And Koto Fuyuki appeared in the G1 Climax. Give me one moment and pull up my notes again. Koto Fuyuki was in the G1 Climax in 1993. So he only appeared in the G1 Climax one time, and that was in 1993. He was also called Hiromichi Fuyuki. I believe I'm pronouncing that wrong. But yeah, he was mostly in FMW, but he did wrestle quite a bit in War. And it was during his time in War that he was invited to do the G1 Climax. So Fuyuki, he followed Tenryu over to War. Again, Tenryu was bringing in people from all over. He was bringing people from all different promotions, and he actually brought Fuyuki over to War, and that's kind of where Fuyuki got his reputation. And when he left and became a freelancer and he started FMW, he took a lot of people from War. He took Jado and Gato. He took Hayabusa. He took quite a few people. Chris Jericho wrestled briefly in FMW, very briefly. But yeah, so they have quite a history and quite a relationship. Koto Fuyuki unfortunately is no longer with us. Tenryu is still with us, and he's still wrestling. But I think this is his last year, actually. I think they're going to do a big retirement for him in November. I think I was reading that recently. Tenryu announced at the beginning of the year that this was going to be his last year. And this is a guy who, not only did he have his own promotion, but he had such an impact in All Japan, such an impact in New Japan. And actually, so this is something I've yet to really delve into in any of my videos. I think I mentioned it briefly in one video. The really interesting thing about this game is that, so this game came out in January of 2000. Obviously is based off of what was happening in 1999 in with New Japan and All Japan. It's got the All Japan license. Like a few months later, like in the middle of the year, there was this big exodus from All Japan Pro Wrestling. Mitsuhiro Misawa and like almost the entire roster bounce from All Japan Pro Wrestling, and Mitsuhiro Misawa created Noah, right? So he goes and he creates Noah, his own promotion, and the only guy who like stayed around was like Toshiaki Kawada, and All Japan Pro Wrestling lost everyone. They lost everyone except for like the Gaijins, the American wrestlers, So when that happened, Tenryu, who, war was kind of declining, it wasn't doing so hot, and Tenryu decided to, and he was really working a lot with New Japan. He was really working with New Japan, more so than War at this point. He decided to close War and go to All Japan Pro Wrestling. And that was a huge deal. And Keiji Muto actually did the same thing. He left New Japan Pro Wrestling and he went to All Japan Pro Wrestling, and those two guys tried to save All Japan that way by leaving their respective promotions and going to All Japan so that All Japan has some star power. And Tenryu, having been trained by Baba, and he hadn't been in All Japan for such a long time, it was a big deal. It was a big deal for All Japan Pro Wrestling, for Tenryu to do that, for Muto to do that, but more so specifically for Tenryu to do that. And he wanted to face Kawada again. And Tenryu and Kawada, they fought for the Triple Crown, and Tenryu won. He won the Triple Crown, and he stayed there. I think he would win it again because of his feud with Muto, and he would win the All Asia Tag title. So it was a big deal for Tenryu to do that. Tenryu and Muto had some great matches at that point. One of their matches you can find on New Japan World. It's the May 5th, 1999 match. But it's their 2000 match that they have. That's unbelievable. So good. One of the best matches ever. It really is. These are two guys who are maybe a few years past their prime. I wouldn't say completely over the hill just yet, but it's the equivalent to like maybe like Shawn Michaels, Undertaker, WrestleMania, kind of like, in terms of their age and where they were at in their careers, but fighting big time, outstanding match. Tenryu also, with winning the Triple Crown, Tenryu also held the IWGP Heavyweight Championship, and he was the first native Japanese wrestler to do so, to win the Triple Crown Championship and the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. It was done before, but it wasn't done by a Japanese wrestler. Vader was actually the first one to do it. I can't speak today. Vader was the first one to achieve that. So it was really interesting that a Gaijin, Vader, that's how dominant he was in Japan, man. They loved him. But he won the Triple Crown and the IWGP Heavyweight Champion first. And then Tenryu would win the Triple Crown, and then later on the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. So he was the first native Japanese wrestler to do that. So that's another big deal. Tenryu was a big deal. And again, like, I feel like with all wrestling, it's always great to go and look at, the guys who came before. And even you can see that now in this year's G1 Climax. Tanahashi's been around for quite a while. He's been around for more than a decade. And Okada is like the new big star. I mean, Tanahashi's still a big star. Still got a lot of years left. But you can see the changing of the guard happening. You can see the new stars coming in. And this is like more important than ever, the time to have guys like Nagata and Tenzan and Kojima helping pass the torch, helping these guys carry the company further. And Tenryu went through all of that. He was the up-and-coming rising star. He was passed the torch, went out, did his own thing, became a huge star, did all these accomplishments, and then started to pass the torch, started to, face younger wrestlers, different wrestlers, and use his legacy, use his prestige and his popularity to help put over other guys. Him and Tanahashi, him losing to Tanahashi, that was a big deal, because even though Tenryu wasn't like a stalwart of New Japan, his time in New Japan, that was still a big deal. He was a big get for New Japan and a big star in Japan in general. He's kind of just an icon. He's like one of those guys that, I don't know, maybe you could equate it to like Ric Flair, because Ric Flair, everyone talks about him and his NWA days, but Ric Flair, from NWA to WCW to WWF, everyone knew who he was. Like when he first showed up in WWF way back in the day in the early 90s, everyone knew who he was. His name transcended the companies. He wasn't just one company guy. He was Ric Flair. He was just someone who represented wrestling itself. Hulk Hogan kind of became that also down the line, starting in WWF, transcending, going to WCW, no introduction needed, and Tenryu was kind of that. He could just kind of come and go as he pleased. He can go to any promotion and be a big star. Here's excuse me, my throat. I gotta clear my. I'm gonna grab a drink of water real quick. I apologize. All right, sorry about that. Here's Yoshihiro Takayama. Yoshihiro Takayama, another member of that Noah exodus. But it's very interesting because when he left Noah, he wrestled briefly in All Japan. He wrestled briefly in New Japan, went to All Japan, stayed in All Japan for quite a while, left to go to Noah with Mitsuhiro Misawa, and then started doing a lot of freelancing, and then started doing a lot of mixed martial arts. And Yoshihiro Takayama competed in 3 G1 Climaxes in a row from 2002 to 2004, and then he would compete again in the 2011 G1 Climax, and he did pretty well for himself in his G1 Climax appearances. In 2002, he actually won his block. He won the 2002 G1 Climax A block, and he made it to the grand finals to take on Masahiro Chono, but Chono won that year. And then Takayama won the 2003, again, he won his block, the B block, and he made it to the semifinals where he took on Hiroyoshi Tenzan, but Tenzan would beat him, and then Tenzan would beat Jun Akiyama, so that was a big deal, beating 2 Noah guys in the same tournament for Tenzan. That was a huge win for Tenzan. And then in 2004, he got 2 points, and I don't know why he got 2 points. I know why. It was a forfeit. He got injured after his first match, and he couldn't compete anymore. His first match was against Kensuke Sasaki, but he had suffered some sort of injury that didn't allow him to compete anymore in the tournament. So, fortunately, he probably would have done pretty well in that tournament as well, considering his last 2 appearances. But he would return in the 2011 G1 Climax, and that's the year that Shinsuke Nakamura won. And he did pretty well again. He was in his A block. He came in 3rd, or 2nd technically, because there was a tie between Naito and Tanahashi. So he did fairly well in that tournament, as also Yoshihiro Takayama, part of Team No Fear. I absolutely crushed him just now. He had no chance against Tenryu. I started getting in the groove right around here with these matches. Like, at first I was very hesitant to play as Tenryu because I wasn't familiar with him in the game. I didn't play with him a lot in the game. I played with my favorites, and honestly, Tenryu was someone that I always I recognized his accomplishments and achievements, But I only really followed his work in the early 2000s. At the point in time, I didn't really follow a lot of his earlier stuff. Now with New Japan World, I can watch a lot of that older stuff, and I have been watching that older stuff, and it is really cool, and I definitely see it. I definitely see why the guy was so respected and so great. But you know, at the time when I got this game, I was playing as Muta a lot, Kobashi, Misawa, Ultimo Dragon, of course. Even Norton. I probably played as Norton way more times than I played as Tenryu. But I started getting a groove with Tenryu. You know, he's kind of a beast in this game. He's got a great counter with his striking counter. You know, the falling armbar, which is always good to have. When I create my wrestlers, I never really give them that. I don't give them those counters because I feel it's too easy. It's too easy to win with when you have a counter like that. But I don't mind when I'm playing as a wrestler who has that counter. So I don't mind that Tenryu has it. And that definitely gives me an advantage a lot. But he's got some really strong grapple moves. He's got a Brainbuster, which is one of his signature moves. He's got a snap powerbomb. He's got the powerbomb pin. He's got that falling DDT from the top rope. He's got a regular DDT. He's got a lot of submission holds. He's got the Cloverleaf, which was one of his signature moves. His specials are a little bit, you know, leave a little bit to be desired. It's interesting that they gave him that sumo, you know, chop with the spin, and I get it because of his like sumo background, and he did do some of that stuff in his matches. But I don't know, I kind of would have liked to see him get that big brainbuster special because he, you know, one of his big finishes was that falling away brainbuster. So yeah, but there's definitely something about his moveset that, I don't know, it's very basic but effective. Very strong style, if you will, and yeah, it's just easy. I just know what to do with him at this point. You're very much in the groove. That counter jumping R bar really helps a lot, and I'm facing a big, massive guy in Scott Norton right now. Scott Norton, nowhere near as successful in WCW as he was in New Japan. Scott Norton, he wrestled in the 1991 G1 Climax, the 92, 95, and 97 Climax. Scott Norton, former IWGP Heavyweight Champion. Let's see how Norton did in his time at the Climax. So Norton, the 91 Climax. Now the first G1 Climax was only 8 people. It was a round robin, 8 people. So he won 2 out of his 3 matches. He beat Muto. Oh no, he didn't win 2 out of his 3. He only won 1 of his 3 matches. He beat Muto. He drawed with Tatsumi Fujinami, and he lost to Vader. 92 was the tournament where it was for single elimination. It was for the NWA Championship. Norton beat Bam Bam Bigelow in the first match. He would lose to Masa Chono, but again, he lost to the guy who won the tournament, so, you know, you can't feel too bad. 95, he would tie in his respective block, with Shinya Hashimoto. They both got 4 points, and Hashimoto was the one who beat him in their block, but Norton beat Tenzan and picked up a win on Sasaki, but he would lose to Keiji Muto, again losing to the guy who would win the tournament. So not too bad, Norton. 1997 was another single man elimination tournament. This time 14 people. Norton would beat Junji Harada in the first round. In the second round, he would beat the Great Muta. You know, that was the first and only time Keiji Muto appeared as his Great Muta gimmick in any of the G1 Climax tournaments. And then he would lose once again to Kensuke Sasaki in the semifinals. So guess who won that year? That's right, Kensuke Sasaki. So I'm sensing a pattern here with Norton. He's losing to the guy who ends up winning the thing. Yeah, and that's it. Those were his G1 Climax tournaments. He basically lost in every tournament to the guy who would win the thing, except for the first time. So no big deal. Does that mean that I'm going to win the tournament too because Norton just lost to me? Maybe. Spoiler alert. I'm doing pretty well with Genichiro Tenryu, I must say. Give him a big powerbomb pin just to show the strength of Tenryu. He could powerbomb Norton. That's no big deal for him. So here we go. I am sitting great with the points right now. Takayama and Chono, they tie. Norton and Takayama. Let's see if Norton wins. Oh, he wins that one. He's still in it. Great Muta and Yasuda. Great Muta's got 6 points. This is so cool. Like, just seeing the points. I would, you know, simulate these matches, but then these videos would be like 20 parts. You know what I mean? Like, it would just take forever. Especially like when you sim the matches, it'll tell you like they'll go like full 30-minute draw, and I don't know, the AI is pretty good. If you simulate matches in Virtual Pro Wrestling 2, the AI is pretty good. I don't remember seeing matches going too much longer than 10 minutes sometimes. So you definitely have some good, you know, matches, but you know, just the fact that for me to play 10 matches as Tenryu takes a whole hour. So imagine if I had to simulate the whole tournament. We would be here forever. So it's better that I just simulate, you know, them automatically as opposed to actually watching the matches and just do the matches on my own. Because like I said, I'm playing on the hardest difficulty. That doesn't mean I'm gonna go blow through every match. I feel like lately I have been getting kind of in a groove again with these games, so it's getting a lot harder for me to lose, but you know, let's not jinx myself. So here I go, and I am facing Tatsuhiro Takayama. And Tatsuhiro Takayama is a junior heavyweight, a very established junior heavyweight actually. He's won the IWGP Junior Heavyweight Championship before on a few occasions. And Tatsuhiro Takayama did compete in the G1 Climax. For a long time, the G1 Climax was reserved for heavyweights and heavyweights only. But in the year 2000, that was the first year where they allowed junior heavyweights to come in, and I think it's mainly because of the 2 junior heavyweights they chose. They chose Tatsuhiro Takayama, who was the current IWGP Junior Heavyweight Champion, and Jushin Thunder Liger, who is Jushin Thunder Liger. He's one of the biggest junior heavyweights of all time. Biggest stars, I should say. And that was a huge deal. They allowed 2 junior heavyweights to compete. They didn't do so well, obviously. But it was still neat. It was still cool to see them break out of the mold and compete with the heavyweights. Liger had a special heavyweight outfit. And he didn't wear his full body suit. He wore a shorter mask. Really cool. Tatsuhiro Takayama wore his regular black trunks. No big deal. Takayama would face Chono. He would lose to Chono. He would face Junji Harada. He would lose to Harada. He'd beat Shiro Koshinaka, which makes me feel happy because Shiro Koshinaka beat me when I played as Manabu Nakanishi in my 1999 G1 Climax tournament. And then he would lose to Yutaka Yoshi. So Tatsuhiro Takayama only got 1 point, you know, because at that time they only gave you 1 point for victory in that tournament. And you know, he did as well as Jushin Thunder Liger did. Jushin Thunder Liger got 1 point as well. Liger only got 1 victory. But that would be Takayama's only invitation to the G1 Climax. Jushin Thunder Liger got invited 3 times, so there's that, you know. But here I go. So I can't lose, right? Because, you know, like, I'm not going to lose to a junior heavyweight. I'm Genichiro Tenryu. Luckily, Takayama does a lot of strikes in this game as well, so you basically just gotta wait out his strikes a little bit. He comes in with Shinjiro Otani, who, if you were paying attention at the beginning of this video, is also a part of this tournament. So we have Shinjiro Otani and Minoru Tanaka. We have 3 junior heavyweights in this G1 Climax All-Star tournament. Very exciting stuff. A few other junior heavyweights have competed in the G1 Climax. Kendo Kashin, Koji Kanemoto, you know, so you'll see them. You'll see Liger in the other G1 Climax All-Stars episode. I'm very excited to see how those turn out, you know, what random characters appear in it and what random character I'll end up playing in it, because I'm going to do it all by random. And maybe, I don't know, I haven't decided yet. Maybe we could do a vote. I don't know if I have enough people yet to do a vote, but maybe we could do a vote, you know, when we have our 3 finalists, who I'll play as, or maybe I'll just keep it random. I don't know. I'll probably just keep it random, make it easier. I like the sense of randomness, you know, because then it's like, you know, it allows me to play as different wrestlers. You know, it allows me to keep from just playing as my favorites. You know, playing as Tenryu for this run was fun, and I'm glad I did it. I'm pretty sure you'll probably see me play as Tenryu again when I have to unlock some outfits. So yeah, and I'll go a little bit more in depth with, like, you know, his big matches and his feud, but I want to keep this, you know, G1 Climax. So there I give the little bit sumo strike combination to Takayama. He cannot kick out of that. He is knocked out. A lot of my matches go pretty fast in this climax, which I'm kind of happy about. I think Tenryu is pretty dominant in this game. I'm not gonna lie. Just knowing how other wrestlers are, and they really made him, you know, be a beast in this game. So yeah, that's cool. So yeah, who we got next? So the only thing about the G1 Climax in this game is, like, when you have 12 people, you don't see them all on one screen. It would have been nice if they were able to fit it all on one screen, but whatever. That's just a little nitpicky thing. So yeah, here I go. I just don't know why. I don't remember this happening. I don't remember when I chose a league tournament that all of a sudden the arena you're in is different. I don't remember that from back in the day. Maybe it always was the case, but I guess it's kind of cool. Deep down, I did want to play on the ramp. I'm not gonna lie. I usually always choose the ramp when I play. It's so cool. Like, what other game allows you to play on the ramp? You know, wrestling game, besides obviously the other Japanese wrestling games. You know, there's no WWE game, or, you know, that we have where you can play on a ramp, as far as I know of. But here's the great Muta, and I'm not gonna lie, I was looking forward to this match because I was kind of scared, because I was like, man, Keiji Muto kicked my butt in the G1 Climax 99 video when I played as Manabu Nakanishi. So I was very excited for this match, because it's been kind of a breeze, I'm not gonna lie. That first match with Chono, you know, I was getting, you know, into the groove a little bit, you know, figuring out my sea legs with Tenryu, figuring him out. But I'm getting kind of comfortable with these matches. It's very easy to counter everyone with Tenryu. It's got a lot of power moves. But here's Muta, and I'm like, all right, this is going to be a big deal. This is going to be a big chance. Now, Muta, like I said, you know, that's Keiji Muto, his Great Muta gimmick. He only competed as the Great Muta once in the 1997 tournament, losing to Scott Norton in the quarterfinals, beating Manabu Nakanishi in the first round. So that's interesting. But Keiji Muto holds a few records when it comes to the G1 Climax. He's been one of the few IWGP Heavyweight Champions to reach the final of the G1 Climax. That's only been done 5 times, and twice by Muto. So Muto has the distinction of not only being one of the people to do it, but to do it twice. So he's the only person to ever do it twice. And actually, when he was the IWGP champion in 2008, he didn't compete in the G1 Climax, and usually the champion competes in the G1 Climax, except in 92, Riki Choshu was the champion, and 2001 and 2004, Kazuyuki Fujita was the champion, and he didn't compete in those as well. Kazuki Sasaki, Kazuyuki Fujita, and Yuji Nagata are the 3 other guys who have won who have reached the final of the IWGP Junior. I'm mixing up my terminology. They're the only other guys to have reached the finals of the G1 Climax while being the IWGP Heavyweight Champion. But Muto and Sasaki are the only 2 wrestlers to have won the G1 Climax while holding the IWGP Heavyweight Championship. Okada seems pretty favorable to do that this year. He's been looking pretty dominant, only losing once to Hiroki Goto, who's the current Intercontinental IWGP Heavyweight Champion. So far, as far as I know, I'm still a day behind. So the first year that Muto made it to the finals as IWGP champion, he also ended up winning the tournament. So Keiji Muto, you know, he won it in 95. while being the IWGP Heavyweight Champion, and that was actually the only time he won it. So very interesting. He reached the final, twice. Probably more than that, actually. I think he reached the final a few times, but as the Great Muta, he didn't do so hot. The Great Muta, he only made it to the quarterfinals, but it was a single elimination tournament, so who knows? Who knows how he would have done? But here we go. I am pretty dominant so far with Great Muta in this. Give him the big punch. And this is where it starts to get interesting. So, Muta doesn't want to go down that easily. He's starting to make a comeback. There I go with my special, and he's not afraid. Giving me a face smasher, moving out of the way, giving me a few kicks, a few punches. Gets me with the Enziguri. I go for the big clothesline. He counters it. Now that counter right away puts him in comeback special territory. And his meter's rising fast. But see, I got that counter armbar, which helps. Which helps a lot, especially if your opponent has a comeback special. But look, as much as it went down, it comes back twice as fast. Look how big his meter jumps just from the little weak A grapple eye rake. His meter goes up with strikes. That's the power of the comeback special. So now he's got a special meter glowing. I'm trying my best just to wait out his strikes so that I can counter him with the automatic jumping armbar. Take his meter down, wait out his big drop kick. Saw that coming. Here I go. I'll go for the big chops, bring his meter down a little bit. I still just have a regular special. I don't know if you could actually get rope break on that. They always go for the rope on that, and I can't remember if you could get rope break on that move or not. But here I go. Muta still has some fight in him. Whip him to the turnbuckle. I'm surprised he didn't counter there. And I was a little afraid he was going to counter this big DDT. Boom, big DDT. So that's it. We're going to put Muta away now. Enough games. Going for the big combination of power moves. Here we go, big braid buster. Boom. Stay down, Muta, if you know what's good for you. Let's give him one more. Let's give him a big power bomb. He's done. He's done for it right here. And boom, one of the best counters in the game. Muta with the mist to the eyes. I absolutely love that counter. So glad I got to see it. Makes me angry though. Makes Tenryu angry. Give him the power bomb. Give him another power bomb. Boom with the pin. 1, 2, 3. So Muta, even though he lost in a blaze of glory, spraying the red mist, and the mist actually changes color in this game, which is so awesome. When he does the counter, it changes color. Sometimes it's red, sometimes it's blue, it could be green, pink, purple, I think, as well. Those are the colors it turns into. But what a great counter. And I forget how you can make that your counter. It's not specific to Muta, although it might be. I don't know, but I think you can make the miss your counter, because I think it has to do with your AI settings and how you counter as a heel. I think that's how you can choose to have that counter as the miss. But what a great counter. I love that counter. I wouldn't have been mad if that all of a sudden led to like Muta just putting on a clinic and beating me, because that would have been great. That would have been great if he did that. But here's Otani. So we got Otani, again, another junior heavyweight that was invited to the tournament. Shinjiro Otani was invited in 2008, actually, which is quite a long time if you think about it, because Otani was kind of a staple for the IWGP junior heavyweight division for a long time. And Otani did a lot better than his, than Liger did in his first tournament, and Takayama did in his first tournament. Otani picked up 7 points. Him and Giant Bernard, aka Albert, aka Tensai, they fought. Giant Bernard beat him, of course, because come on, Giant Bernard against Otani. But Otani actually picked up a victory over Wataru Inoue. He went to a 30-limit draw with Kojima. Okay, I would have liked to seen that. I gotta see if they have that on New Japan World. 2 Togi Makabe and Otani went toe-to-toe, and Otani came out victorious. Otani beat Manabu Nakanishi, because who hasn't at this point? And Otani lost to Hiroshi Tanahashi. So Otani did fairly well, and he tied with Kojima 7 points, but unfortunately neither one of them, Togi Makabe, he ended up winning his block, A block, so that's probably why they did the draw, Kojima and Otani. I want to see that match now. I want to see Otani and Kojima go 30-minute time limit draw. Hiroki Goto, who's the current IWGP Intercontinental Champion, ended up winning this tournament, the 2008 tournament, beating Togi Makabe, who's the current Open Champion, the IWGP Open Champion, who beat the crap out of Naito in that one match. Oh wait, sorry, there I go, spoiling it again. I don't mean to spoil the G1 Climax, but I'm in G1 Climax mode, man. All I've been watching these past few days of G1 Climax and NXT. I've fallen behind on my Lucha Underground. I haven't really been keeping up with Raw, except for like the recap, articles that I read, and I'll watch some clips of the matches. But the G1 Climax, they're so long, they're so extensive, and there's a lot of them. Like every day, there's a tournament, so they don't, sometimes every other day or whatever. But I'm a day behind. I'm trying to stay caught up, and I'm trying not to read spoilers online because I want to be there. I want to be ready for when the finals happen and watch the finals and not have it spoiled. So yeah, I'm just in G1 Climax mode. That's all I've been talking about. I've been telling people you should watch the G1 Climax, and they have no idea what I'm talking about. But this is something that's been going on for 25 years, so that's why I wanted to do the All-Stars episode. I'm just going to have my way with Otani. I'm just destroying Otani right now. He did kick out of my front special. Let's see, I think I go for the superplex here if I remember. Big superplex to Otani. And look at the size difference. Look at the size difference. Sometimes you can't really tell the size difference too much in these older games. Or I should say just in these games in general, the AKI developed wrestling games. Obviously the super heavyweights, and like if you make their body shapes big and stuff like that, but you can't really get a sense of how much bigger Tenryu is over Otani. Otani doesn't look that much shorter than Tenryu. He definitely looks smaller body size wise because he's got the skinny body type, and Tenryu's got the muscular body type. But that's something like I like in the newer wrestling games. Like at least the sense of size is a little bit better. You can tell, who's obviously way bigger than other people. I wish they did a little bit more of that. I wish they really made it apparent, because like when you see actual wrestling and you see a guy like Rey Mysterio Jr. get in the ring with the Big Show, you really see the size difference. And I really wish they did that in these games. Like when you play WCW NW Revenge and Rey Mysterio against the Giant, the size difference is there, but it's not as apparent as like in real life. So that's something I would have liked to see expanded on, even more so in the current wrestling video games. There's Otani kicking out again of another special. Otani doesn't want to go down. Apparently I'm not doing enough damage to Otani, or he just got a lot of fight in him. So here we go. I'm gonna give him a big brain buster. Boom. Say goodnight, Otani. Just don't even get up. It's over. Let's give him the big power bomb. See, that's what I mean with Otani, with Tenryu. It's that it's very basic. It's like, all right, power bomb, brain buster, power bomb pin. There's the match. They give him another power bomb for kicking out. Absolutely destroying him right now. Here I go. Counter that. Where you going, Otani? You're not going anywhere. I stayed away from trying to win matches with the submission holds with Tenryu in this run. I didn't mind winning with these, this sumo striking combination. It's kind of cool. It kind of growed on me a little bit as I was playing. I was like, yeah, I like winning with this. So I keep winning with it. And there I go. Otani, you put up a fight, but come on. You're messing with a heavyweight. You're messing with Tenryu. Mr. Puroresu, as they say. So I'm getting close to the end here. I've yet to lose a match with Tenryu. So I think it's safe to say that even if I lose the next match, I think there's only one more match, 1 or 2 more matches left. Tenryu is going to the finals, going to the grand finals of this G1 Climax. But you know, I'm gonna keep playing it, see who comes in second. And yeah, I haven't fought Minoru Tanaka yet, and I think that's it. I think that's the last one I have to fight. So here's Minoru Tanaka and I am undefeated. Tanaka's lost a few. Minoru Tanaka, another now see, Minoru Tanaka, I think it's great that we have Minoru Tanaka here, ladies and gentlemen. And give me one moment while I bring up my notes. So Minoru Tanaka was invited in 2001, you know, the second year that they invited junior heavyweight wrestler to compete in the G1 Climax. And you know, legendary G1 Climax, legendary junior heavyweight in his own right as well. But Minoru Tanaka has competed quite a bit in the G1 Climax. No, he didn't. I'm making that up. He only competed once. I'm thinking of Minoru Suzuki. I'm confusing my Minorus. I saw Minoru Tanaka fight in the U.S. He came over and he wrestled way back in the day, early Ring of Honor. And I honestly don't remember who he wrestled. He wrestled an American wrestler, American indie wrestler, and I know he wrestled. I know it was Minoru Tanaka because I knew him from the video game, and I was like, oh crap, they got Minoru Tanaka here. This is gonna be a cool match. It was at the Elks Lodge in Queens, and I can't tell you who he wrestled because my memory is just crap. I have a terrible memory. I don't even remember what the match was, what it looked like. They threw streamers for him. It wasn't the main event, I know that. And yeah, I saw Minoru Tanaka perform at once. Couldn't tell you what the match was. Isn't that sad? It wasn't even that long ago. It was probably like 15 years ago or something, and I just can't for the life of me remember it. Or 10 years ago. But Minoru Tanaka, he also didn't do so hot in his first and only outing at the G1 Climax. And once again, him and Liger were in separate blocks. So Minoru Tanaka was in block A and Liger was in block B. They kept the junior heavyweights separate. Liger did much better that year, actually, you know, winning a match and tying a match. But Minoru Tanaka only won one match. He won against who did he beat? He beat Kazunari Murakami, but he would lose to Tatsumi Fujinami, Yuji Nagata, Manabu Nakanishi, and Tadao Yasuda. So look, it's coming full circle. We had Tadao Yasuda at the beginning, and now we have Minoru Tanaka. So Minoru Tanaka, junior heavyweight, going up against Genichiro Tenryu. Needless to say, he doesn't stand a chance because at this point, I am just dominating with Tenryu. So it's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting who the other two wrestlers I'm going to play as and who I end up playing as in the grand finals. Will it be Tenryu? Will Tenryu be the G1 Climax All-Stars champion? I kind of want, I'm not going to lie, I kind of want someone who actually won the G1 Climax to be the G1 Climax All-Stars champion. But whatever, you know, we only had, in this one, we only had a few winners. We had, who did we have? We had Chono and Choshu. Technically Muta, but he didn't win as Muta, he only won as Muto. And so we only had 3 G1 Climax winners in this G1 Climax All-Stars tournament. So the next few blocks, if you will, are going to be very interesting because we're going to have a lot more G1 Climax winners. Tatsumi Fujinami is going to be in one of them. Shinya Hashimoto is going to show up at one point. Keiji Muto, Kazuki Sasaki, Tenzan, Kojima. Nakanishi is going to make a return appearance. Hopefully I don't get stuck playing with him again. If I get stuck playing as Nakanishi, I'm going to choose someone else. If I do the random thing and it lands on Nakanishi, I'm going to choose someone else. I'm just putting that out there right now. Nagata is, we've yet to see Nagata. We've got some other cool people that I'm excited about. Masato Tanaka competed in the G1 Climax, so we'll see him. We got the junior heavyweights coming in, Liger. Jun Akiyama is going to be in one of them. Hiro Sato. We got a lot of guys coming in, so it's going to be great. I hope you like this. I hope you're excited about this as I am. But there I go. Another one bites the dust. Another easy win for this was an easy G1 Climax. I'm playing on the hardest difficulty, I really am. But I think Genichiro Tenryu is kind of a beast in this game. Just in this hour playing with him, he was pretty unstoppable. Those counter strike grapples make all the difference in the world. They really do. They really cut the momentum, which is why when I create a wrestler, I don't do it. To make it a little bit more interesting, because when you counter a guy, that you should, with a striking, you should do your striking move and give them that opportunity to counter you back. So Choshu actually came in second with 13 points. Fuyuki came in third with 11 points. But their clean sweep, Genichiro Tenryu, winning all his matches, undefeated, all the way through part 1 of the G1 Climax All-Stars. And let's go to the little victory celebration. Bam, there it is. Congratulations, Tenryu, Mr. Puroresu. So this is the first competitor for the finals. Who is going to be next? I don't even know because I haven't done the videos yet. But stay tuned. My next Virtual Pro Wrestling 2 video will be part 2. Next week, we'll go back to No Mercy. Leave a like if you like this video. There it goes. I was just making sure it was on hard. I was like, that was a little too easy. So comment, subscribe, and I'll see you next week. Until then, watch wrestling, especially Japanese wrestling. Go watch some. Okay, have a good day. Bye.